Hello, clever people, and welcome back to kind of a thoughts on video. I was sick for like a week and a half. I tried to go see a couple of movies that only made it worse, so that really delayed my schedule, and I don't have enough time to do each separate video. So basically, what I'm going to do is every movie I've seen the past like 2 weeks or 3 weeks that I didn't review already, I'm going to review right here, give my quick thoughts on it. So on to our first film, which is Baby Driver. I caught Baby Driver at a super early advanced screening. Baby Driver is about Ansel Elgort, who is a getaway driver. He has a great cast, but the real reason I was really anticipating this movie is because director Edgar Wright has made the Cornetto trilogy and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which are all great films, and he's one of my favorite directors. So I was really excited for this, and it was great. I loved it. I'm not sure if it's my favorite of the year. Raw, Colossal, and that are kind of tied right now. I'm trying to decide which one's the best, but Baby Driver's great. I loved it. The directing was absolutely stunning. The cinematography, how every scene was done and handled, everything was perfect. There are some crime scenes that are linked up to songs, and I thought all of them were fantastic. The movie was very funny. There are a lot of jokes. That's kind of what Edgar Wright does. He does visual comedy, and it works much better than in-your-face comedy that you see in a lot of comedies nowadays. The soundtrack is amazing. It fits with the film perfectly. Sometimes the scene, like a lot of the songs, have to do with what's happening in the movie, so it's great. The chemistry is very good between the two characters, and the characters are all fantastic. I'd give Baby Driver a 9.5 to 9.75 out of 10. I haven't really decided yet. Now on to Baywatch. So Baywatch is a movie that's based off the 90s TV show Baywatch and stars Dwayne Johnson, Zac Efron, and other famous attractive people, and is about conflict on a beach. This movie doesn't have much of a plot. I know I say that a lot, but this doesn't have much of a plot. Now let's move on to the good. It's entertaining, kind of, sometimes. Now let's move on to the bad. Special effects are actually kind of horrible. I don't know how this had a $42 million budget. I mean, did like all the cast like cost like $41 million? Because the special effects are terrible. There are some scenes where The Rock is jumping into the water to save someone, and it looks like terrible green screen. Acting is pretty good, bad in most cases. Most of the time it's alright, but there are some cases that are just terrible. The movie does not have a good pace. Sometimes it feels longer than others. It feels like some scenes should just take place in other event, like another time. It's really unfunny. All of the jokes are just, look, we're obscene. Isn't that funny? Oh, ha ha. It's like, we're gonna swear, and that's funny. Ha. It's just not funny. Because it's not a joke, it's just saying a swear word. Ooh. The characters were all very badly developed. I'd give Baywatch a 2.75 out of 10. People are telling me, well, it was supposed to be bad. It was supposed to make fun of itself. Well, yeah, if I read a book and the author says, yeah, that book sucked, that does not mean, oh, now this book no longer sucks. It still sucks. If you don't do anything with acknowledging that you think it sucks, then it still sucks. There's nothing changes. Let's move on to Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales is honestly extremely forgettable. Only thing I really remember is this curse Jack Sparrow's on. There's Javier Bardem, and he's like a dead guy. I honestly do not remember much about this film, and I saw it like a week and a half ago. Let's move on to the good. Some of the acting is fine. A lot of the movie is, well, not a lot of the movie, but some of the movie, the best of the movie is just fine. I mean, the girl, I don't know what her name is, but she did a fine job. Javier Bardem did a fine job. I believe it's the script's fault that there's some terrible dialogue that kind of ruins it, and it's entertaining sometimes, like the first third of the film was entertaining. It wasn't great, but it was entertaining. So I was like, all right, I think this would be a decent 5 out of 10 because like it's not the best movie, but it's still some fun. And then it kind of got boring, which is weird for this kind of movie. So yeah. Now let's move on to the bad. The movie just loves to repeat the same jokes over and over again. Like they had like 3 jokes, which were the entire movie's surplus of jokes. There was the this girl is smart, so that must mean she's a witch. Oh, I'm looking for this star. Witch! Oh my god, she's a witch because she's smart. Get it? Because this is the 1600s and that's what they do at this time. The other joke is, oh my god, Johnny Depp is drunk. Johnny Depp is drunk. What? I was looking for this amazing creature, but I found this drunk. It's just overdone. And the other one is the girl says she's a horologist. She's a type of scientist. And everyone's like, oh, she's a horologist. Ugh. I must tell her dad that she's a horologist and stuff like that. Like, it is honestly the same joke over and over again. It got old really quick. Like I said, it's incredibly forgettable. The characters are very wooden, so I didn't really care about anything that was happening. I mean, honestly, if I didn't have to review it, my mom wasn't enjoying it. I would have left the theater. I had no reason to stay in that seat. Jack Sparrow lost his charm. He used to be a somewhat likable character, and now he's just not at all. I'd give Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales 3 out of 10, 2.5. Around Baywatch, I'd say it's actually worse than Baywatch, so I'd give it a 2.5. There's one line that I just like to point out. So basically what happens is the opening scene is Javier Bardem murdering a ton of people on a British ship. So one of the main characters in the movie, he approaches him. He's like, hey, can you tell Jack Sparrow I'm coming for him and I'm going to kill him? He's like, okay. And Javier Bardem's like, I would, but myself, but Dead Men Tell No Tales, and it's the title sequence. And I thought that was so cheesy. I kind of laughed and like sighed at the same time. Now on to Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman is a film about Greek mythology. Wonder Woman is a girl. She's grown up on this small little island that's shielded off, and she lives with Amazonians. And Chris Pine crashes on her island, and he tells them about the World War I, and she believes that it's their biggest threat, which is Ares, that it's his doing. So she goes with Chris Pine to end the war and save people. Was I looking forward to Wonder Woman? Kind of. I mean, walking into the movie, I was looking forward to it. The trailers all looked pretty good, but there's that thing in the back of my head saying Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman, Man of Steel. It's gonna be as bad as those. But actually, it wasn't. I liked Wonder Woman. It's not the best comic book film I've seen all year. I'd say it's about on par with Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not a great film, but it is certainly entertaining. It certainly has its good things. The recent DCEU efforts did not know how to mesh drama and comedy, and I had to say this film did it very well. There's kind of that fish out of water, Thor-ish comedy with Diana never leaving this island, so she's finding out what new things are, and that whole thing was really funny. They're just really likable characters. Both Gal Gadot, I don't know how you pronounce her last name. I'm pretty sure it's something like Gadot. I think. And Chris Pine both did a fantastic job. They're both really likable. Their characters were both very likable, but the other characters, not so much. I thought the action was very well filmed, and I don't want to compare this too much to other DCEU films, but like it's not shaky cam and you can like understand what's happening. There is a bit too much of slow-mo though. And overall this film was just very entertaining. If I had to say something bad about it, it would be that this plot is very formulaic. I mean, I say this about every superhero movie, so yeah. happens again. Formulaic plot. I know what's gonna happen. It's pretty easy to predict. But if you're looking and just wanting to have a good time, you're not necessarily looking for the best film, you've pretty much got it. I'd give Wonder Woman a 6.75 to 7 out of 10. Like I said, about as on par with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And now on to our last film, Captain Underpants. So Captain Underpants is about two best friends in first grade that draw comics about this character they make up called Captain Underpants. And they brainwash their horrible principal and turn him into Captain Underpants on accident because they're going to be separated and put in two different classes. I was not looking forward to Captain Underpants. The trailers looked awful. Well, it was getting good reviews, and I was like, maybe it's not that bad. And I have to say, it's decent. It's good. There are a lot of things weighing it down. There are a lot of things that I liked. So let's start out with good. The film did absurdist humor very well. Like, it's just over the top, just ridiculous, and it knows that, and it did it well. Unlike Baywatch, that did not do it well. There are a lot of little things that you had to notice. Like, they travel past a restaurant, it's in frame for like less than a second, and where it said like, where it will normally say A approved as like a grading system, it said like B plus, and I thought that was kind of funny. There's little things sprinkled out throughout the entire film like that. It was entertaining, not the worst way to spend an hour and a half. And the humor was actually pretty good. Well, I have to say, the humor that wasn't, ha ha ha, Uranus, ha ha ha, poop. The humor that was not that was actually very funny. Let's get on to the bad. I know it's called Captain Underpants, but a lot of that humor, it's not funny. I know that kids will enjoy it, but still. Like, if they just had the humor that was not that kind of joke scattered throughout the film, and that was the entire film, it would have been great with some other little flaws, but that would have been good. That really just weighed it down. And for a movie titled Captain Underpants, there is very little Captain Underpants. He's basically a sidekick for the movie. He's not even that big of a character. He's kind of a plot device. And while I don't really care about that, I know a lot of people do care because they grew up with the books. I didn't really grow up with the books. So I'm going to give Captain Underpants a 6.5 out of 10. Alright, what do you think about these films? Comment below. I will be seeing It Comes at Night, The Mummy, My Cousin Rachel, and maybe Megan Levy over the weekend. So that concludes my review. I'm Connor Gilbert, and this has been